It is Tuesday, July 30th here at the West End Gun Club. It's just after 6. I'm out here at the Rimfire Range to do a run-through of the August 2024 NRL22 Course of Fire. Course of Fire got published before our last match, which took place 2 days ago on Sunday. So before I stored all the targets away, after the match, I rearranged them on the stands so they're set up for this Course of Fire. So I already knew the stages. I kind of have it in my head where we're going to lay everything out. Already set up a tank trap where I think I'm going to put that stage, put up my KYL, set up a target at 50 because I'm going to true up my windage for the conditions this morning because it's a little breezy. I say it's about a 6 mile an hour wind when I came in this morning. It's dying down slightly, but it might be only because I'm underneath this underneath this overhead with Connex containers around me, so I'm not feeling the wind because I can see it, but it doesn't feel strong here, but I know it's out there. So we'll true up the windage for our conditions this morning. Sporting the NRL22 blue sun shirt, whatever they call it, sun shirt. It's got a hoodie, and this is kind of for like hot summer use because it's got that material that wicks sweat. So I decided to wear this morning. It's pretty new. This is for the new, it has a new logo on it because everyone knows that they switch logos when they sort of revamped the website as it's kind of changed, I'll say ownership, but who's organizing the leaders of said organization. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the rest of the stuff set up. I'm going to do a quick 0, and then we'll start this Course of Fire run through. Quick run through of the rifle we're using today. It's the same one I used in the last match as my Voodoo Gen 1.2 with the MDT ACC Elite Gen 2 chassis. And a couple of people might have been noticing the contraptions on it at the last match. Aside from the Garmin Serial C1, I didn't run it during the match, but aside from the other stuff that's attached to it, I did have the MDT Crush It stage timer here, MDT, formerly LRA, Send It level. And then people were looking at my GoPro contraption here. I have an M-Block pick rail here, and then it's stacking a clamp, or this SC Duo, which is from Really Right Stuff, which is an Arca clamp, and then pick rail on the other side. And I have this GoPro buckle adapter for Arca, which is this funky contraption here. But the reason why I had it on here, excuse me, is to just get some overview or like a POV of the Crush It stage timer, how I have it set up, just so people can see how that works. So it's within kind of frame on the very top half. And I'm using that for footage for a future review of the Crush It stage timer. The first stage of the August 2024 NRL22 Course of Fire that we're going to run through is called Rowdy Rampage. 12 rounds, 120-second part time. We have the KYL, the full rack, which is the 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch at 45 yards. It's a tank trap stage, no real restrictions here defined. We're going to start standing, rifle at the high ready, and all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, engage the targets in the following manner in order with 1 shot each. Left tip, large to small. Middle tip, small to large. Right tip, large to small. And the middle tip is pointing down range. So we have that pointed down range. And that's that. I mean, it's pretty much a straightforward stage. So last month, just quickly to reference last month's match, I jacked up that stage and no one called me out on it. It was supposed to be shoot tank trap 2 shots, prone 1 shot, tank trap 2 shots, prone 1 shot, two shots, tank trap 1 shot, but you're supposed to use different positions on the tank trap. I was on the middle the whole time and no one said anything. So I ended up deducting all my points because I looked at it after the fact on video when I was cutting the video, and I took off 3 total points because I think on those two iterations, second and third, I only got 3 shots. I missed 1, so I took off 3 points because that didn't count. So it's kind of why my scores were really low it wasn't really low, but it was lower than it should have been. It's because I messed it up. And in any case, try not to mess up the tank trap tank traps tips here because it's easier because we're not switching to prone. But just mental mistakes. Got to watch out for those. Anyway, let's go ahead and do the run through of this stage. Oh, get me down on that one. Miss. to large. Barely nicked that one. Plenty of time. All right. Large to small. Missed. Wow. I think I nicked it. Can't tell. It's hard to see with this brush behind it. Wow. That stage didn't go very well at all. So I missed quite a few shots I have to review. And it's hard for me to even tell if I hit it because I have the target in front of some like dried brush. So you can't even, it's hard to see the KYL targets. They're so small. And I think I had it backed off to like 18 magnification roughly. So that was the problem last match because the KYL was in front of that too. So a lot of people are complaining you couldn't see it. Like I could barely see the 1/4 inch. So that's part of the problem there. The second is just, you know, a little bit unstable. And I need to practice more on the tank trap. I'll admit that my tank trap is kind of fallen off a little bit as of late. But pretty much you're going to have to game it in such a way that if you can get the rifle to just sit still and not influence the gun. I was putting my left hand on the bag to kind of orient the gun, but that's putting enough kind of pressure on this whole system to cause it to move or tremble if you're shaking. So and I shot kind of hunched forward. And so obviously in order to manipulate the firearm to get it into a certain area, you're going to have to get it in such a manner that you're going to influence the gun. So my gun is pretty balanced here, and I should have done a better job just sort of letting it frame and sit. And I think I have a live round in there. Yep, my mag's in there. So if I kind of just frame it, sit, and then pull the trigger, and I think I hit it, can't tell. But that's sort of what you got to do. That's kind of the key thing with such a small target, 1/4 inch, at 45 yards, any kind of tremble on this gun is going to cause you to miss. So that's all I'm going to have as far as advice there, is just to practice keeping this gun still on the system, or the system still on the tank trap, and your front support as much as possible without influencing it. My first instinct was to kneel down, and theoretically I probably could have, and just sort of had a quasi and just kneeling and look at it and not even shoulder the gun, which is one way to game it. But let's try that real quick. I mean, I could also do that right now. And do I even have a round in the gun? I don't think I do. See, I can't even see the KYL right now. Yeah. So in any case, I think this is going to be a challenging stage for some people, myself included, just based on my habits. So I'm going to leave this tank trap stage set up for the rest of the morning as I go through, and I'm going to come back to this and practice this off camera just to get some iterations and repetitions on this tank trap. Anyway, let's move on to the next stage in the Course of Fire. Second stage in the Course of Fire we're running through is called Pigpen. It's a 10-rounder. We have 2 targets, single bank. It's going to be a 2-inch and a 2.5 inch on a double hanger at 75 yards. No real restrictions here. You're going to start standing, rifle at the high rating, all gear in hand, mag in, action open. On the start signal, engage the targets in the following order and manner. 5-gallon bucket, 1 shot each, small to large. Chair seat, 2 shots each, large to small. Prone, 1 shot each, small to large. Chair seat, 1 shot each, large to small. So it's small to large, large to small, small to large, large to small. So the chair is always going to be large to small. And 5-gallon bucket and prone will be small to large. What's confusing here is that you're going to shoot 1 shot each, 2 shots each, 1 shot each, 1 shot each. So it's got to remember that. I think it's going to be a little bit of a memory thing. So just keep that in mind when you shoot this stage. Let's go ahead and get our mag out and we'll try this one out. Two shots, small to large. Whoa, did I pull that one? I might have pulled it. Prone. I think my bipod's too short, it's all good. And then back to Cherokee. Drop my mag out of my holster there. Plenty of time. 1 shot. All right. This stage is relatively straightforward. I missed 1 round, I think, off to watch it on camera. I don't know why I went so far left. I don't know if I nicked it or if I just pulled the gun or something. I don't know what happened there. In any case, as far as to shoot this stage, we're shooting an uphill angle. So we have a specific issue here for our venue, is getting the elevation. I ran the gamer plate with the flat bag, which is fine for this bucket. I can get low. People are going to want to use a taller bag. I did not bring a pump pillow today or my mega bag. Pump pillow would have been ideal here, but I was going to use, in my head, I knew that I needed more elevation off the chair because I wouldn't have enough clearance for the bipod if I wanted to keep it out because we're going to shoot prone. So I used another bag. I ended up using the tricorn, if that's what it's called, from Coltac. I used it for rear fill because I needed that to just get my elbow, my shooting elbow up off the ground or whatever and stabilize that. So that helped me there from the bucket. Now going to the chair, I probably could have gotten away with just this without the bag. In retrospect, I probably should not have used, I didn't need to use the bag. I stacked it on top like this to get me a little bit more clearance for my bipod, which I thought I'd need, but I didn't. So in retrospect, I might just go ahead, given that the chair is long enough or wide enough or whatever to accommodate this sort of setup here, I can just run the bag as is and then shoot prone and use this for rear support. However, you saw me in prone, my bipod was too short. So I left it the way it was as my kickstand, but I should have had it up for this uphill angle. For flat ground, the SkyPod collapse was fine, but again, we're shooting at a 4 degree upward angle. So I needed more elevation, but I was basically able to make those shots without using rear support. I just kind of put my hand underneath between the buttstock and the concrete. And the targets are relatively large, a 2 and a 2.5 inch. So it's not that small. They're pretty big at 75 yards. But I'm still surprised I missed 1. I have to look at it on the camera to see what happened there. But hopefully you got some ideas here. Again, what bag you're going to use on here for the bucket, it's probably doesn't need to be that big, I don't think. It all depends on what your range is set up like. Just make sure you have your bipod ready to go for prone. I would leave it out. A good question from last match. Someone asked, do you have to have the bipod collapsed? No, you can have the bipod set up how you want it. There's no, unless it says you have to have the bipod folded, you can have it out. So have that ready to go so that when you transition to prone, it's easy. The problem is though, some people with shorter foreends might not be able to shoot with their bipod extended, which is going to slow you down. That's just an unfortunate aspect. You'll just have to deal with it. I think most bipods compared to the magwell will probably fit around here where my hand is, right here. So if that were the case, let's just simulate this for a second here. I'll just kind of bring that back. You're going to have a problem here. If you want to leave the bipod stowed or open, you're going to need a tall bag to clear your mag. I have this barricade stop here, the mag blocker, so I couldn't do that. So let's say if I was going to run it, I would just basically put the bipod folded, shoot, go to prone, quickly put the bipod legs down or out, and then again, bring them back up. So that's something you'll have to deal with if you have a gun where the bipod attaches closer to your magwell and whatnot because of this chair seat. Some people may try to shoot the bipod off of the chair, which you might be able to do. My SkyPod is set up midway. I could probably shoot like that, and some people may elect to do that. The only problem is for the upward angle here, you're definitely going to need a fill bag of some sort to hold you, to fill you here if we're shooting at the 4 or 5 degree upward angle. This is going to be a huge problem, so you'll need at least a pump pillow or a mega bag. If we're shooting a down flat ground, this would be a lot easier because all you would do is just bipod, knee, and you're good to go. But that's for everyone else in the country who shoots flat ground, as opposed to the West End Gun Club, we're shooting an upper angle. So that's the unfortunate aspect there. Given this fact, for most people, you might want to try this route because you can just shoot bipod off chair. You don't have to get down on the get down in a quasi squat or quasi prone. Then you can still have your bipod ready to go for prone and switch back to the chair seat. So pick your poison and adjust accordingly for your venue. Anyway, let's go and move on to the next stage in the Course of Fire. The next stage in the August 2024 NRL22 Course of Fire that we're running through is called Bermuda Triangle. It's a 10-round stage. We have 3 targets. We have a 1.5 inch on a single hanger at 55 yards, 2 inch on a single hanger at 82 yards, 3 inch on a single hanger at 94 yards. You're going to start standing, rifle at the high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, engage the targets in the following order and manner. Left outside of the pyramid, near target, 4 different rungs. Center of the pyramid, far target, 3 different rungs. Right outside of the pyramid, middle target, 3 different runs. So near, far, middle. So 55, 82, 94, 4, 3, 3. It's not, they didn't say that you're supposed to take 1 shot from each position, but that's what it should mean. So that's how I interpret it. So 1 shot from 4 rungs, left side of the pyramid at the 55, center of the pyramid, 1 shot on the far target, 3 different rungs, and then right side, 1 shot on the middle target from 3 different rungs. So not much else to say here. Just know you're dope. It's going to be, you got to shoot and move because you're shooting 10 different positions. That's what's going to kill most people on this stage. So definitely get your target, get your sight acquisition as fast as possible. Take your clean shot and go. So let's try this one out. I think it's bouncing around. Target looks like it's going to fall over. I saw I dipped my rifle. That was dumb. bar, middle. .8. 24 seconds. This. 9 seconds. It's gonna be a snapshot here. Whew. This stage of fire is just difficult only because you got to shoot and move, shoot and move. Timer helped me out a lot here because it sort of helped me realize that I needed to speed up, which is great to have that timer. So crusher stage timer, helpful in this scenario. Now, as far as the positions, again, I forgot to bring my pump pillow, which is probably something I might have used, but I just wanted one extra bag for when I was going to shoot prone here off that lower rung, and that did help me out. However, I didn't use a bag for the other rungs, and so in all honesty, most of the time I don't need to use a bag as long as I can frame a shot, and I'm able to frame my shots fairly well, but under time it's a little bit harder, and so I'm not too uncomfortable to shoot in this scenario with just kneeling, letting my gun balance here. I will admit that the GoPro is adding extra balance and a weight in the back, so it is not as balanced as I want it to be, but it's fine. But for a right-handed shooter, my advice for the pyramid, if you can, is to kind of jam your gun against the right side. So I have a gamer plate on here, so I'm hitting my gamer plate against this leg of the pyramid to help sort of stabilize it a little bit, and I'm just putting lateral pressure here to kind of just wedge it in there so it's controlled. It's very controlled, and I can actually move the gun back and forth here like this and control the elevation, which helps me out a lot. If you're just using a straight bag with no gamer plate, kind of the same concept. You can use the bag, squeeze the bag against the side, push it into this leg, and you'll create that force to control and manipulate the gun. So that's what I did. I shot the lower 4 rungs. I didn't choose the top rung for this left side. Then just bayoneting in through the pyramid again. I couldn't get it to the right because we have this pole here. So in this scenario, I couldn't get it against the right side of the pyramid. But I was comfortable enough not having to shoot it because shoot it jammed up because it's a 3-inch at 94 yards, which is pretty large. Did I miss a shot here? I can't remember. I think I hit all 3 on this one. So I decided to go down to here as opposed to go back to prone. It felt natural to work my way up, work my way back down. And then when I went to this side, I think I went back up to here. I should have just rolled over the prone. I have to look in the camera. Did I roll over the prone or did I just go back up? I think I went back up. So in retrospect, save yourself some time. Just go laterally across from the position you left off from. So when you're transitioning from the left side to the center, just go straight across if you can. And then from center to right, go straight across. Don't like start from the bottom, work way up and go down and work your way up, go down, because that's wasting time. It's better just to move laterally because you're not changing your levels. Keeps things smooth. So I think here from center to right, I did go from bottom up. I should have just went bottom. Anyway, that's kind of the only mistake I made there, I think, in my procedure. Other than that, I did drop 2 rounds. I threw a round, I think, at the top because I jerked the gun. I was trying to come off the gun fast, and you got to follow through. So that was my mistake there. In any case, this is a pretty straightforward stage. Just need to practice, get on target as fast as you can, establish that position as fast as you can, break your trigger cleanly as fast as you can, and move. So that's what this is. This is an exercise of. Let's move on to the next stage in the Course of Fire. Next stage of fire to run through is called Rockin Crocs. It's a 10 rounder, we have 2 banks of targets. We have a 1 inch and a 1.5 inch on a double hanger at 50. Then we have a 2.5 and a 3 inch on a double hanger at 100. So 50 and 100. This is the bonus time stage, or bonus point stage. So if you finish with extra time on the clock, you get bonus points. You're going to start standing, rifle at the high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, engage the targets with 1 shot each in the following order and manner. 55-gallon barrel, near, small to large. Cinder block, far, small to large. 55-gallon barrel, near, small to large. Cinder block, far, small to large. 55-gallon barrel, near, small to large. So basically 50-yard, 100-yard target, alternating, one shot each, small to large every time. It's pretty straightforward. For the people at West End Gun Club, we will be shooting at the 50-yard on a level ground, so you're going to be shooting compared to everyone else in the country as far as flat range there. So adjust accordingly, and then 55-gallon barrel, upward angle. Again, I didn't bring my pump pillow, and I can see where my mega bag or my pump pillow will be very valuable in this situation, but don't have it today. We're just going to wing it and shoot it with just the gamer plate and the Coltac D-bag. But let's go ahead and try the stage. Oh, I forgot the holdover. Idiot. Stupid. Forgot the holdover. It's all good. In the stage overview, I made a mistake when I made a comment about how this is shooting level ground. Not thinking this is where you're shooting the 50-yard, that's the 100-yard. So we're shooting level ground here, so you'll definitely want to adjust accordingly when shooting off a cinder block in practice for a 5-degree incline or angle of attack. Pump pillow would help here, definitely. I ended up just grabbing my Armageddon Schmedium just to get my elbow off the ground for better support, and it worked well enough. I missed one round there only because I forgot to hold over. I shot straight away, so I had it set for 0, which is my 50-yard 0. I didn't dial, and so when I got in position, I was just so focused on getting my elbow correct that I forgot to hold over. So that's just mental mistake there. Anyway, you can dial if you want. I actually had my parallax set to 100, and I left it there, roughly not 100, but yeah, it's close enough, pretty close to 100. And I didn't just parallax when I shot 50 because it's big enough you don't really need to care. So maybe set your parallax to 90 or something, and then don't touch your parallax. If you want to adjust for elevation, go for it. Maybe it's a mental thing for you to just be able to adjust elevation and know that what you're shooting. I just totally forgot to hold over 1.5, 1.6 for this ammo in this gun. But yeah, this is a pretty simple stage. I took my bipod off because I knew it was going to be in the way when shooting with the flat bag. I ran the Coltac D-bag on the gamer plate as my support here. Just left it on, and that was that. Kind of just got the rifle there, pretty easy, and then used that to move over here. And if I had my pump pillow, I would just throw it here and leave it there and not even use a pump pillow here because I could just easily shoot off this with no real rear support. Anyway, this is a pretty simple stage. Just don't forget to hold over for your target, for your the 100-yard or however you're going to do your elevation adjustments. But that's that. Anyway, let's move on to the last stage. Last stage we're running through is called Back to School Struggle. It's a 10-round stage. We have 3 banks of targets. We have a 1-inch on a single at 44 yards. We have a 1.5 and a 2-inch on a double hanger at 77 yards, and a 2.5 and a 3-inch on a double hanger at 99 yards. Restriction here is no adjustments to elevation turret after time starts. A mandatory magazine change is required after the 5th and before the 10th shot. If 10 shots were fired and a mag change was not recorded, then shots 9 and 10 will be recorded as misses. You're going to start standing, rifle at the high ready, and all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, take a prone, supported position, and engage the targets near to far, small to large. Then engage the targets far to near, small to large from any rung on the ladder except the bottom rung. So I'll read that one more time just so I can understand. On the start signal, you'll take a prone supported position and engage the targets near to far, small to large. So you're going to take prone anywhere near the ladder. Then engage the targets from far to near, small to large from any rung on the ladder except the bottom rung. So basically, near to far prone, far to near ladder, but always small to large on the double hangers. Pretty straightforward, but let's see how this one goes. Any rung but the bottom rung. Oh, ladder's a little rickety. Okay. Far to near. Okay, we got plenty of time to frame this. Missed. Barely nicked it. Not much to really say here. I've finished with plenty of time on the clock. Getting to a prone position, fairly simple, making your shots there. Now switching to the ladder, I decided to go with the 3rd rung from the bottom. In retrospect, should I have taken the 2nd rung and used my kneeling position? Maybe. I think what's more going into my head though is using this bag as my rest instead of my gamer plate, because the gamer plate's great for speed. And the flat bag is good for maneuverability in a tight space like a ladder. But I feel like without much movement here, what I could have done was just use the the bag a little bit more effectively in terms of getting a more solid, like a bigger bag, a more solid feel that I can control than the gamer plate in this situation, if that makes sense. I may actually opt not to run my gamer plate. As far as this nailing position, I think maybe this would have been a better choice to just use this, the 2nd rung, as opposed to the 3rd rung and using just a double kneeling position or double knee. Could have done it without. I don't know. It is what it is. I think I could have shot this just fine. I just felt like maybe my gamer plate wasn't ideal, especially because it was kind of canted because it's a flat bag, right? So it wants a tendency to go with the ladder, and the ladder is canted to gravity. So I felt like I was trying to force it into position too much. So I think in retrospect, I may just go with a single bag, no gamer plate, use that single medium for my rear support and use it for my front support on the ladder, and then probably pick the 2nd rung if I don't go with the 3rd again. I just I feel more comfortable just shooting kind of upright than trying to get my knee up.
That's just the way I feel about it. I know a lot of people prefer just to have that knee down, elbow down on the knee, but I can shoot like this just fine as long as the gun's stable. And the gun's more stable in this position with the bigger bag than my flat bag, and I can get it to be level a lot easier than trying to force it with the gamer plate. So that's probably the way I'm going to do it. And the ladder is moving quite a bit, so I think I'm going to go with a bigger bag than trying to have the flat bag and the gamer plate trying to force it level, and you're going to be moving the ladder. So it's easier just to manipulate the gun with a big bag, not on a plate. But yeah, that's my thought on this. I don't know what you guys think, but hopefully got some good information there. But this is overall a pretty straightforward stage. Prone, ladder, pretty simple. 2 positions. But that's it for this, and let's go ahead and clean up, and then I'll wind this range follower down. The August Course of Fire isn't too bad. I think it's moderately, like low moderate as far as difficulty. Only 2 stages will cause people problems, most likely the tank trap stage. With that 1/4-inch target at 45 yards, might be a lot of movement for people. You might miss that 1/4-inch target. And then we have the pyramid stage, which is 10 different positions. So those are the 2 stages which will probably cause people the most problems. Everything else should be relatively straightforward. And I think people should be able to score relatively high, especially experienced folks on this Course of Fire. Anyway, not much else to say here as far as the Course of Fire. I recommend, I think for this Course of Fire, you probably want a pump pillow for body fill on some of the stages, depending on your venue. Other than that, you can probably get away with just the medium bag and like a game changer, a small pint size or a medium game changer, and then some sort of body fill bag, and it should be fine. The only reason I really use that flat bag, which is over there on my gamer plate, is because that gun with the chassis and that big Zico optic on a 1.5-inch height over bore mount, it's tall, right? So when you try to fit through ladders, I kind of need a flatter bag for easier maneuverability in those portholes. But anyway, you can probably 1 bag or 2 bag this at the most. You don't really need that many to shoot this Course of Fire. I know a lot of people, myself included, we have lots of bags. We bring them all, but we just don't use them all. Or we try to find reasons to use it. But I think if you wanted to slim down, you can always just use 1 or 2 bags. That's what NRL22 was founded on, and originally it was just 1 bag, volleyball size or smaller. So I think probably want to go back to that sort of mentality of trying to go with a reduced setup as far as bags are concerned. Anyway, that's it for this. If you want to come out to our match, it's 4th Sunday of the month in August. Can't remember the day off the top of my head, but it's 4th Sunday of the month. And definitely come on out, and I'll put the link to link to the informational website that you can go to that has basically FAQ, directions, and links to the relevant pages to go to for registration. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do some practice off cam before I leave and tear down the rest of the gear, which most of it's already cleaned up. But that's it for today, July 30th? Yeah, July 30th here at the West End Gun Club. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vlog.